Have you ever noticed how time seems to literally slow down during the most emotional moments of your life? Like, just think about it for a second.
Oh, absolutely. It's a very real phenomenon.
Right. Whether it's a terrifying near miss on the highway or maybe locking eyes with someone you love after being apart for months. In those specific, really highly charged instances, your brain just seems to stretch the seconds out.
Yeah, it allows you to absorb every single microscopic detail of what is happening right in front of you.
Exactly. And today we're actually looking at how an entire industry has figured out a way to artificially reverse engineer that exact feeling.
Which is just wild to think about.
It really is. We're pulling from a comprehensive guide today by a platform called Weddizer. And this guide focuses on slow motion reels for emotional wedding highlights.
Right.
And the mission for this deep dive is to explore how modern wedding videographers are using the literal manipulation of time-specifically slow motion to transform standard event recordings into these breathtaking, high-end cinematic memories.
Yeah, and establishing this up front is important. This isn't just about making a visually pretty video. We're talking about the deliberate preservation of human emotion.
Right.
It's this fascinating intersection of neuroscience, high-end technology, and storytelling.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because to really get why this matters to you, whether you're currently planning a wedding or just, scrolling on your phone on the couch, we have to look at how much the whole concept of wedding videography has fundamentally shifted.
It really has changed overnight, it feels like.
Right. Like if you go back just a couple of decades, a wedding video was basically an archival document.
Yeah, like a guy with a camcorder on a tripod at the back of the church.
Exactly. Just hitting record and capturing 2 hours of distant, grainy footage.
It was purely factual, just,
Yeah.
a visual receipt that the event actually took place.
A receipt, yes. That's a great way to put it.
But if you look at the evolution outlined in the Weddizer source material, couples today are demanding something entirely different. They are looking for a luxury cinematic experience.
Yeah, they don't want a home video. They want a final product that feels much more like a high-end Hollywood film.
And that makes perfect sense when you think about it.
I mean, I look at the old style of wedding videos kind of like reading a piece of sheet music. Like, sure, the notes are all there on the page, and technically you know what song is being played.
Right, you get the gist of it.
But watching a beautifully crafted cinematic reel, that is like sitting in the concert hall and feeling the symphony wash over you. One just gives you the information, but the other actually makes you feel the impact.
What's fascinating here is that distinction brings us right into the psychology of empathy, which is really the engine driving this entire trend.
How so?
Well, when a videographer takes a fleeting fraction of a second, maybe a sudden laugh or a quick nervous glance, and stretches it out using slow motion, they are bypassing your logical brain.
Oh, wow. So they're speaking directly to your emotional centers.
Exactly, because in real time, an emotion might rush past before you can even consciously process it. But by slowing it down, they literally force the viewer to sit with that emotion.
And that triggers something physical in the viewer, right? Because I'm thinking about those times you're just mindlessly scrolling on Instagram and suddenly you stop on a video of two complete strangers getting married.
Right, and you're suddenly tearing up.
Yes. You don't know these people at all, but you're crying at your desk.
You're experiencing an empathy trap, essentially. Humans are wired with mirror neurons.
Okay, mirror neurons.
Yeah, so when we see someone experiencing a strong emotion, our brains naturally simulate that exact same emotion.
That makes sense.
But in the chaos of a real-life event, expressions change in milliseconds. Slow motion gives your brain the time it needs to recognize those micro-expressions.
Like the slight crinkle of the eyes or the trembling of a lip.
Right. By giving your mirror neurons time to fire, the videographer actively increases your emotional investment. You stop passively watching a timeline of events, and you deeply connect with the love story.
Which obviously translates into massive audience retention online. Like when you let people truly sit with an emotion, they don't click away.
No, they stay, they watch, and they share it.
But that brings up a really crucial question about how these videos are actually constructed. Because if slowing down time carries this much psychological weight, You have to be incredibly deliberate about which moments you choose to stretch.
You do. You're building the architecture of a perfect memory here.
Yeah, you can't just pick random moments.
Exactly. And not every memory requires that level of cinematic gravity. If everything is emphasized, nothing is emphasized.
Oh, that's a really good point.
The source material maps out a very specific emotional journey, detailing exactly which moments benefit most from being stretched.
Okay, instead of just listing them out, let's think about this as an emotional arc. Because a wedding day is essentially just a series of rapid-fire psychological shifts.
It's exhausting for the couple, honestly.
It really is.
Yeah.
So take the groom's first look, for example. In real life, that moment is pure sensory overload. He turns around, sees his partner, and his brain is just flooded with nervous anticipation, overwhelming joy, shock, love.
All in the span of maybe 2 seconds.
Exactly.
And the human brain simply cannot process that much rapid emotional shifting in real time. It just becomes a blur to the person experiencing it.
Right.
This is where slow motion acts as a sort of cognitive assist. By slowing down that specific 2-second window, the viewer gets to witness the literal progression of emotion across the groom's face.
You see the breath catching, you see the eyes widening.
Yes, you see the exact millisecond the nervous tension breaks into pure joy.
It's incredibly intimate. And you see that same cognitive assist applied to the bride walking down the aisle, right?
Absolutely.
Right.
Because in reality, she is probably hyper-focused on just not tripping over her dress.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
It feels like a high-speed blur to her.
But slowed down, the video captures the grace of the flowing fabric, the happy tears she might not even realize she is shedding.
And the proud expressions of her family, too.
Yes, the family reactions are actually some of the most critical storytelling beats in these films.
Like the parents wiping away tears or the grandparents applauding in the front row.
Right, because these are fleeting, peripheral moments that the couple absolutely misses on the day because they are so focused on each other.
Of course they are.
So preserving those reactions in slow motion weaves an entirely new layer of narrative context into the memory for them to see later.
And then, you have the grand exit at the end of the night. Confetti, flower petals, bubbles, sparklers.
Visually, those physical elements are practically begging to be stretched out in slow motion.
They really are.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets really interesting. I'm listening to all of this and thinking, wait, if slow motion is so great, shouldn't they just film the entire wedding this way?
Like a 4-hour slow motion epic.
Yeah. Why not give them every single micro-expression of the entire night?
Well, the guide from Weddizer is very strict about this. Do not overuse it.
Why not?
Because if you attempt to watch a video paced entirely in slow motion, you'll understand very quickly why modern editing relies on contrast. Our brains habituate to stimuli.
Okay, meaning we get used to it.
Right. If you watch 2 hours of continuous slow motion, the novelty wears off, the mirror neurons fatigue, and the emotional resonance completely flattens out.
Yeah. A 4-hour slow-motion video would feel like an exhausting perfume commercial.
That's a perfect analogy.
You would just be totally checked out by minute 10.
Precisely. You must mix real-time pacing with slow-motion clips. The contrast is what actually commands attention.
So it's the shift in speed that catches your eye.
Exactly. When the footage is playing at normal speed and then suddenly flows down for a pivotal emotional beat, that shift in velocity tells your brain, hey, pay attention. Something deeply significant is happening right now.
Okay, so we understand the psychology of why it works and the architecture of what moments to choose. But I really want to get into the literal mechanics of this.
The technical blueprint.
Yeah. How do you pull this off without the footage looking like a glitchy, stuttering mess? Because you can't just take a normal video clip on your phone, drag it out in an editing software, and expect it to look like a Hollywood movie.
No, it gets incredibly choppy if you do that.
Right. You have to shoot it with intention, which means talking about the math of memory, which is frame rates.
Frame rates are everything here. To understand them, imagine a classic flip book.
Okay, the little stick figure animations.
Right. Video is essentially just a rapid sequence of still photographs. Standard cinematic video plays at 24 frames per second.
So the camera takes 24 pictures every single second.
Yes. And when played back at that speed, it looks like natural, real-time motion to the human eye.
Right. So if you take those 24 frames and try to stretch them out over 2 seconds of video, you suddenly only have 12 frames per second.
And your eye immediately notices the missing information.
It looks like a stuttering slideshow.
Exactly. So to slow time down smoothly, you have to capture exponentially more data in the actual moment. The standard starting point for